You know, a woman's reproductive life is this incredible journey, filled with some of the biggest biological and personal transformations you can imagine. So today, we're going to walk through the modern medical map for three key stages: the 9 months of pregnancy, those critical moments of childbirth, and that powerful transition into menopause. Let's get right into it.
And we're not just talking about biology here. I mean, these are huge, defining chapters in a person's life. Each phase brings its own set of challenges and, honestly, its own transformations. We're going to explore the roadmap that modern medicine provides, which helps women navigate these moments with more knowledge and, really, more control than ever before.
So, here's the game plan. We'll start with the roadmap for a healthy pregnancy. Then we'll take a look at a really common hurdle, gestational diabetes. From there, we'll shift our focus to safety in the delivery room before moving on to that final chapter, understanding and navigating menopause.
All right, let's dive into our first act, pregnancy. Modern prenatal care isn't just a series of random checkups. It's a highly structured process, and it's all designed to monitor and support the health of both mom and baby right from the very beginning.
So, take a look at this timeline. You can really see how prenatal care ramps up as the pregnancy moves along. In the first and second trimesters, visits are pretty steady, about every 4 weeks for key screenings like the neutral translucency test. But then, look at the third trimester. Bam! Visits jump to every 1 or 2 weeks. Why? Because this is when doctors are on high alert, screening for things like gestational diabetes and group B strep. It's a system of, increasing vigilance as you get closer and closer to the big day.
Now, that glucose test we just mentioned, that's a big one because it screens for a super common complication called gestational diabetes. It's definitely a hurdle that a lot of women face, but the good news is it's something that can be managed really effectively if you have the right plan.
So, what exactly is gestational diabetes? Well, to put it simply, it's a temporary kind of diabetes where all those pregnancy hormones start to interfere with your body's ability to regulate blood sugar. It's not something you did wrong, it's just a complication of pregnancy. And that's exactly why that screening test between weeks 24 and 28 is standard procedure for pretty much everyone.
And here's the thing about managing it. It's incredibly hands-on for the mother. A huge piece of the puzzle is regular self-monitoring of blood glucose levels. This really puts you, the patient, in the driver's seat, empowering you to help keep your blood sugar in a safe range for both you and your baby. And when you're monitoring, these are the targets you're aiming for. Doctors have really precise goals: keeping fasting blood sugar under 95 and making sure your levels after a meal stay below 140. Hitting these numbers consistently is really the whole key to reducing risks for everybody involved.
So how do you hit those targets? You might be surprised. For the vast majority of women, we're talking somewhere between 70 and 85%. The answer is all about nutrition. And look, it's not about cutting out carbs completely. It's about choosing the right kind of carbs, the complex ones, and balancing them with plenty of protein and healthy fats. Often, diet alone is powerful enough to do the trick. But it's not just about what you eat. To really manage this well, you need a holistic approach, which is built on these 5 pillars. Of course, you have the monitoring, nutrition, and physical activity. If that's not enough, insulin is usually the next step. But just as important is that last one, psychological support. I mean, the stress of getting this diagnosis during pregnancy is a very real thing and needs to be addressed. Okay, so we've managed the pregnancy, and now we're heading into the delivery room. This is it, the culmination of everything. But it's also a really high-stakes environment where patient safety is absolutely critical, especially when you're talking about medications.
Now, this number might look a little jarring. Over 2,600 medication errors reported, and that's just in one state over 5 years. But the point here isn't to cause alarm. It's to highlight that even in these highly controlled professional environments, mistakes can happen. And understanding that is the first step to preventing them.
So what kind of mistakes are we really talking about? Well, you might think it's all about giving the wrong drug. But look at this. The biggest slice of the pie, at over 22%, is actually dose omission. And that just means a patient missed a medication they were supposed to get, like maybe a critical antibiotic. After that, you see the more obvious ones, like wrong drug or wrong dose. Let's make this real for a second. Here's an actual example from those reports. A patient was just supposed to be getting standard IV fluids, but the bag was accidentally switched, and she was getting Pitocin, a really powerful drug that induces labor. Now, thankfully, the team caught it right away, they stopped it, and everything turned out perfectly fine. But wow, it's a stark reminder of how a simple mix-up can happen and why everyone has to be vigilant all the time.
So how do hospitals stop these errors from happening? Well, it's all about building layers of safety into the system, creating a kind of safety net. This means things like standardizing protocols, using smart pumps that can flag a potential error before it happens, and even simple things like really clear labeling and requiring a second nurse to double-check high-alert medications.
Okay, after the intensity of childbirth, our journey moves into its third act, menopause. And let's be really clear here, this isn't an ending. It's the start of a whole new and significant phase of life, one that can easily last for a third of a woman's entire lifespan.
All right, let's clear something up that trips a lot of people up. The difference between perimenopause and actual menopause. Think of perimenopause as the long ramp up. It's the transitional time, it can last for years, and it's when all the symptoms and irregular periods start. Menopause itself, that's just a single point in time. It's the official diagnosis you get after you've gone 12 consecutive months without a period.
And that whole perimenopause transition is really defined by its symptoms, which can be incredibly wide-ranging. I mean, we all know about hot flashes and night sweats, right? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. The experience often includes major sleep disruption, mood changes, that dreaded brain fog, and even physical changes to your skin and where your body stores weight. It's a truly full-body experience.
So for a long time, treating all of those symptoms, especially with hormone therapy, was a huge source of confusion and, frankly, fear for a lot of women, and even for their doctors. So let's try to demystify the modern approach and clear the air a bit. You really can't talk about menopause treatment without mentioning a huge study called the Women's Health Initiative, or the WHI. The initial headlines from that study back in the early 2000s basically scared an entire generation of women and doctors away from hormone therapy. But what we've learned since then has given us a much more nuanced, much more sophisticated understanding.
And probably one of the most important things we've learned is this concept of a timing window. When scientists went back and reanalyzed all that WHI data, they found something remarkable. For healthy women who start hormone therapy within 10 years of menopause, their risk of cardiovascular disease doesn't just go away. It actually decreases by 30 to 50%. It turns out timing is everything.
Okay, but what about that big, scary breast cancer risk that everyone worried about? Well, let's put the actual numbers in perspective. With the older drug formulations used in that original study, the absolute risk was actually very, very small. For every 1,000 women on that specific type of hormone therapy for 1 year, there was just one additional case of breast cancer compared to the group taking nothing. Just one. That context is so important.
So all of this new knowledge leads us to the modern, personalized way we approach hormone therapy today. The key takeaway is this. For the right person, usually a healthy woman under 60 and within that 10-year window, the benefits can absolutely outweigh the risks. The guiding principle is always to use the lowest effective dose for the shortest time you need it. Plus, doctors now have safer options like skin patches and newer hormone formulations. And it's always important to remember, there are also really effective non-hormonal treatments available too. From the proactive, predictive care of pregnancy to the personalized medicine of menopause, there's a clear theme here, right? Science is constantly giving women more power and more tools to navigate their own health journey. Proactive, informed care really is the thread that ties it all together. And it leaves you with a thought. We've learned so much about how to manage these journeys, but what will the next big breakthrough unlock for the women of tomorrow? Thanks for watching.